as you said, I'm from India, of course. Kind of quite visible from my face where I'm from. Uh, yeah, I've been in Atlanta for last nearly 8 years now, and loving so far. I've had a background in system engineering for 4 years in Infosys. Before this, left there, came here, and been with G&D for last 8 years in Atlanta. I was born and brought up in Bhopal, in a small town called Baragarh. Mostly studied there, did my high schooling there, pretty close to my house, and yeah, since then been moving around from Pune to Mysore, back to Pune, and then finally to United States. Car is one thing that I just need. Simple as that. It's not about being in US or something. Everybody in US you need a car, period. But I got it lot earlier than my friends, anyone actually, and that was by design. So I was saving initially because I need a car. I'm a kind of a car guy that I need a car always in my head. I need a car. I don't care what kind of a car it is, but I need one. Uh, so process wise, it was quite simple. You had to pick your budget, right? That's to start. You have to pick. Do you want to buy used cars? There are really good available because used cars compared to India here are very different approach. In India, you don't even consider buying a used car because you think it's gone, right? It must be in terrible condition. It just driven like hell. Maybe a driver drove it. Whatever. Here, it's not that case because people switch through cars quite frequently, every 2 to 3 years. I'm kind of that kind of a guy as well. I switch cars quite frequently before it goes out of warranty. So you have the choice to make between used and a new car. Once you've settled on that, the process is relatively simple. Again, it connects with your credit history. That's why I said start those processes early enough. Once you have enough credit history, you can get a decent loan. And the loan process here is extremely simple. So I've bought 2 cars so far, and I never had to visit a bank.
That's good.
It was all online. Basically. So the first time I got was through an online service which was called Lightstream. They're still very much in business through Sunbank, and they gave me the best interest rate. So the thing is, the process is anytime you do a credit check, it's a hard credit check on your history. It goes in your record that somebody pulled your file. You have 45 days after that first credit check to do any number of credit checks, and that number will still be just one. In 45 days window, you can do. So my advice to is, if you've decided to buy a car, if you've decided to do that hard credit check on your file, in 45 days you go through every single bank because it will be counted as one check. So might as well explore all the options you have available. And I did. I applied for, I think, 7 banks. Lightstream was the best interest rate I got. So of course I went with that back in the day. It was 4.9% back in the day. That is a dream these days with the interest rates. But I got back, and after that, the dealership process was easy as well. Not like they go through 500 signs in India. They don't do that. There is not a lot of paperwork that goes into that. I went there. Most of the communication before that, the code, the VIN number, exactly what car will be ready for me on the lot, and everything was communicated via email or all over. I went there one day, Saturday, 2 hours later, I had my car and all the paperwork. It's really, really simple. Buying a car, they made it really simple. Even though Americans hate dealerships, as a person coming from India, that was hunky-dory. That was not a problem. And my second car was even easier because I took my first car. I went there for a just a test drive. For the second car, I just went there for a test drive just to explore how Mustang worked. And they just gave me a deal that I couldn't refuse. So they took my car, paid a handsome money on it, traded in, got the paperwork done. I drove back with a new car in the next couple of months. And there was a new loan, old one was settled, all just a few signs, maybe I would say 5 or 10 signs here and there. And yeah, I had my car ready. First was Toyota Camry, which was basically one of those cars that you gotta have a car, that kind of a thing. No more than that. It's not a fancy car. It's maybe in India here people make fun of it. So you're gonna see a lot of them. Like you turn your head around, you're gonna see 5 Camrys go by. It's so popular. But it's one of those cars that you need a car to be reliable, low maintenance. It works forever if you need it to. Incredibly spacious because we have 4 guys, 1 car, All the supplies, groceries, Walmart, furnishing our home, everything came in that car. So it was a perfect car for that stage of my life when I needed the car to be. Second car was Ford Mustang, of course, a monster that I have right now, and yeah, that was more of a passion buy. Less of a practical. It's still not practical by any means. That car is no practical. More than two people, you can't sit. There is no boot space to even put two bags in. It's not a practical buy. It's a passion buy. So you have to balance it out. What do you need at that time and what stage you are in? If you are a family, probably Mustang is not for you. If you're a single, then yeah, world is your oyster. You can pick whatever you want based on your budget. I'm well within the process actually right now. I'm actively searching, and I'm in escrow market right now. I have my finance details and everything sorted. So yeah, it's a process of searching because market is not good right now. Interest rates are incredibly high and houses are incredibly expensive. So you have to balance out a perfect equation of how much you're willing to pay in interest. Because we're not talking about a loan of $20,000-$30,000. We're talking about a loan of $300,000. Every single percentage point on interest bleeds you dry over the years. So there are a lot of factors that goes into that. How much down payment you're willing to make, how much loan you want to take, how much personal savings you have. Then you have to look for a house that is move-in ready, or will you have to do some work after getting in there? How big those expenses are, because those expenses won't be on your loan. So it will be out of your credit card. Do you have that money with you or not? Or you're going to be burning through cash, maxing out your credit cards. So house process, I would say, is a lot more complicated, but it's a very complicated process. You have to think certain things in your head. It's an American dream for sure. Everybody says that. Is it easy to do that right now? Not in this market. But yes, I'm actively searching right now. I'm in the market to buy a house. Atlanta, I would say about depending on the area, but you can buy a decent house for $300,000. Still, you can buy it. You'll have to make some compromises on it, but 3-bedroom, 2-bath, maybe a garage, maybe not, depending if you're in a townhouse, if you want to live in a big society, or if you're willing to compromise a little bit on the age of the house, if you're buying a new construction. There are a lot of factors that goes into that, but I would say 300,000 is a decent amount if you want to live a decent life. 3 bedrooms, you have enough space in your porch, maybe throw in a barbecue party, decent sized kitchen, and so on. So 300,000, yeah. Atlanta is still very much affordable. Not the most affordable like it was 7-8 years ago. It's gotten really, really expensive because of the migration of people like me. We've had a 1 million population added in just 7 years. That's a record in itself for US, for any city. So houses are a lot expensive, yes, now compared to before, but still I would say 300,000, Atlanta is very affordable compared to others. If you're a nomad, if you're single and nomad, go for rent, right? If you're moving around, like if you're going to be consultant, moving cities to cities, countries to countries, you're not in a stable life right now, rent is a better option. You don't have to worry. Apartment and everything, they manage the maintenance and everything. I don't have to do much. I just have to live my life. Easiest way to do things. It doesn't come with stability though. There is a major caveat to that you have to figure out. Do you want to be stable in your life? Do you want to have an equity that you can manage? Because here nothing is mine. I have to live by their rules. I can't put holes in the wall because I'll have to pay at the end through my deposit. So it's their property. I'm just living in there. So rent has its caveat. And if you don't stay in your house too often, you're traveling a lot, rent might make sense. And people are absolutely right. Financial experts are absolutely right in one thing. Owning a house is a commitment because it comes with a lot of other expenses. So if you're not paying a 20% down payment, you'll have to pay mortgage insurance. That's $200 a month, depending on $300,000 house. And on top of that, property tax. You have to think about the schools, because if you have a kid or so, here in US, you can only enroll your kid in a public school close to your house, closest to your house. So school quality defines property values in United States. That's a major factor. So you have to take all of these things into consideration. And the major thing is, between property taxes, home insurance, your interest rates, and maintenance that goes along with it. Houses here are not built like India to last 100 years. They are not. It's not a brickwork. The foundation is all woodwork. So you'll have to do a constant maintenance to bring your house up to the speed of latest infrastructure. Keep changing the walls. You have to redo your bathroom every 10 years. You have to change your HVAC every 15 years. You have to change your flooring every 10 years. So depending how old of a house you got, there might be certain expenses, and living longer in that house, you'll have to pour in more money. To get all of that back in 10 years, you'll have to sell your house for at least 80% more than what you bought for to break even. That's what it comes down to. So think about that equation, where you're going to be in 10 years. If you're just traveling and a consultant living in different cities on companies' dime, buying a house may not make a lot more sense. Buying a house and using it as an investment for renting to someone else, yes, that's very profitable. A lot of people are doing that if you have a surplus money lying around. Buying for yourself, it comes with a commitment between the closing cost, and you can't do like you buy a house and just sell it off in 2 years. No, you're going to lose a lot of money. You have to stay a certain amount in that house to even make some money, because the closing cost alone is 11,000-12,000 after the mortgage. $11,000-12,000 after the mortgage that you have to pay just to get the paperwork done, and not to mention the fact that the maintenance work that you did in the house to make yourself comfortable. So yes, financial experts are right. It's a balanced equation depending on what stage of your life you're in. If you're living a single nomad life, absolutely, rent is the right thing. And I've known a few people who keep traveling cities to cities, and they have their stuff in this storage boxes, in storage banks, basically. They pay $100 a month, and they just put all this stuff. They take a car and just move around the states in different places. For them, renting perfectly makes sense. College life, when you have limited money, renting makes sense. Before 35, I would say if you're in a decent job, a stable life, buying an equity, house equity definitely.